Good morning. How are y'all doing? Are y'all ready for day 5 of the socks? All right. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll get started with that first thing. So here we go. We're going in. I think we went all the way across yesterday. Yeah, it feels as if we did. So let's go back over here to the left and see what we get. Well, they are red, so that's good. It will match my sweatshirt. Oh, it looks like they are crew socks today, but let me tell you, these are definitely going to probably be knee, close to knee highs on me, unless I wear the, what do you call that, the heel where it's supposed to go and then pull that under. So it says, oh, Santa, I know. If you've seen that movie, you remember he goes in there and says, it's Santa, I know. Oh, so those are really nice. All right, so I'll put those on my feet. Let me set that there. Okay, that was my little clicker to stop and start. So today, Christmas memory. Well, you know, my brain doesn't work too good while I'm trying to do another task at times. So let me get these socks on my feet because I don't have any on yet. I do have house shoes on. And they are fur lined and they feel so good when these floors are cold in the morning. Oh my goodness. I ate some tortilla chips and jalapeno dip not too long before I went to bed last night for my snack. I have to have a snack with my medicine, and my legs feel a little swollen from that salt this morning. I guess because I wasn't doing anything afterwards. So it's taking a little bit to get my pants legged. It won't go down at first. There we go. Now I'm going to put my house shoes right back on my feet. They're made like little. They are the cutest things. Let me show them to you. I got them off Amazon. And no, I'm not sponsored. Amazon doesn't sponsor me, and I'm not advertising for them. I'm just telling you where I got them. And they have a rubber sole, and they're fur lined. Oh, they feel so good. I guess it's just this age. My feet get so cold, and in the summer I can run around barefoot, and I used to run around barefoot in the winter, but I can't do that anymore. My feet can't handle that cold like it did once upon a time. Okay, Christmas memory, and I said I would share C's, but I didn't have it written down. And she said one of her favorite memories Christmas when her family, her 2 sisters and her brother, and I'm sure hoping you are her. We probably established that one time, but I don't remember. So if I'm wrong, if you're not a her, please correct me. But I think something within our conversations I picked up that you are. But anyway, she says that her family, her 2 sisters and her brother and all of their families would go to her mom and dad's little house. And said there wasn't much room, but they were just all, happy to be there. And that's what it is. This family's about, doesn't matter how much room you have. My children, I have 5 children and their spouses, and then the 13 grandbabies. Our house is a little crowded when everybody's here, but hey, it is worth it. I mean, my house isn't real big, and it's worth it just to all be together. Now, when my husband built this, we had to build because our other home was destroyed by a storm, and insurance didn't want to give us much money. And it was just a double wide house trailer, and he took and separated the 2 halves and made it a triple wide. And the kitchen and the living room, he made, big. The biggest portions, the kitchen and living room. So we'd have more room for entertaining, because our other house, at the time when we bought it, we thought it was pretty big, but as the children grew, it wasn't that big. And still, I've been to other people's houses, and theirs are not this big as this is. near as big as this is, but it doesn't matter the size of your house. All it matters, you know, you always heard it doesn't matter the size of your bank account. All it matters is that you and your family, you're together and there's love there and laughter. Laughter is a big key too. I love to, because after I cook and I sit down, I'm tired. And usually in the evenings, my children, they'll play games, you know, board games. And I love to just sit back and listen to them as they're laughing. Excuse me. But I love to just sit back and listen to them as they're all laughing over there playing games. And sometimes I wonder what's going on. You know, what in the world are they talking about or doing over there? But anyway, um, and then Amber, if you saw down there, if you had looked, she is actually my daughter, and she lives in Florida. And she said one of her favorite memories was going to Dallas, and that we had bought them Space Jam sweatshirts and sweatpants. Her and her sister above her, and and said, oh, it says, and she said you bought a sweatshirt and sweatpants, and I believe they were Space Jam ones, and yes, they were. Space Jam was a show or something that was on at the time, and I'll tell you now, Amber, I got those on sale, so otherwise you probably wouldn't have got them. So, but so I'll tell my memory about that Dallas trip. It was fun. It was Christmas of 1996. Yeah, 1996. And a man that my husband was stationed with when we were in Germany, so I actually knew this man and his wife, and the four of us, we had become friends. Um, he had actually been in Vietnam. Now, my husband was not in Vietnam, but he was a Vietnam era veteran. But he was not in Vietnam. But this guy he was stationed with in Germany, and this was like it was when I was stationed there, and that's where my husband and I met. But it was it was that year. It was 1980, same year we got married, and because my husband was actually only temporary duty there, and he wasn't there very long, but he met me, so that's all that matters. But anyway, so this man, his name was Butch. That's what we called him. He had been having some bad times with PTSD, and then another thing that had happened at us where he worked, and that happened recently. Was having some really, uh, I guess it was PTSD. I know he was battling depression. So my husband just decided hey, let's go visit him for Christmas. Now, we had not seen him in 16 years since we had left Germany. So, we left in January of 81. And so we had not seen him in 16 years. And, but, you know, we had talked to him on the phone through the years. We had written letters and, you know, well, his wife and I wrote letters. Those two, they didn't write letters. But anyway, so we had that way, and they lived close to Waco, Texas. And so on the way, we got probably about halfway, and then we realized that we had never even called his wife and told her we were coming. So, and we probably were a little more than halfway, because I think we were almost to Waco when we did finally call and ask her if it'd be okay. You know, you don't want to just surprise somebody on Christmas Eve and say, hi, I'm here. But so we went to Waco. We went that way. We got to Waco. It was Christmas Eve, and if y'all remember the TV show had Chuck Norris in it, Texas Rangers. Well, we took our children to that book you get when you go to, or we would, every time we go to a new state, and you stop at the restroom there at the state line, the Welcome Center, and you get the little books. Well, I saw there was a Texas Ranger Museum there in Waco, so we took the children there. And that was so much fun going there and see and watching the movie and talking about how when it first started, they would mainly they would choose big men, but they would choose, you know, tall and big built, but they would choose men who were kind of what they considered ugly. They didn't want any nice looking, I guess, pretty boys, and had the nice pretty baby face or anything. But so that was neat going there, and then so we went to our friends, and we, you know, we spent Christmas Eve with them. We went there the next day for Christmas lunch, you know, dinner early, whatever it was, and what you want to call it. So for my neck of the woods, we'd say Christmas dinner, and uh, there they say Christmas dinner, and some people call that time of day lunch. So, but Christmas dinner to us. So we had a good time. He and my husband sat around. They would sing a few songs, and his wife told us thank you. She said you really helped lift him out. And on Christmas Eve night, we took them out to dinner, and it was so funny because we said we want to take him out to dinner, and he got up, grabbed his cowboy hat, and said, "Let's go." And so, um, but then that night, let me tell you about that night. So we left, and we well, on the trip there, I got to tell you about that. So this may be a longer video on the way. Okay, I cut you off there for a minute, and I went, oh my, you know, like, oh, what happened? And I realized I'd accidentally hit the button and cut you off. But don't worry about it. I'll be putting these two videos together in one. But that Christmas Eve night when we, Christmas Eve, or was it the night before Christmas Eve? Yes, it was the night before Christmas Eve because Christmas Eve is when we got to Waco. So the night before Christmas Eve, that'd been the 23rd. When we got into Dallas, we had a minivan, and I can't remember what was, but something broke on that minivan. Now, my husband, he did not want to spend any money to have someone else fix his vehicle. He just, he did it himself all the time. He would not take it anywhere to have it fixed, have the oil changed or anything. And but that night, whatever it was broke, and so we were right at a gas station. Now I can't remember if it started breaking before we got off the interstate. My children would have to let me know, or if when we pulled into the gas station it broke. I think it may have broke and went, you know, whatever was wrong right there at the gas station. I can't remember. But what was so amazing, and this shows you how God always provides, we needed supper. We had not eaten supper yet. But right there was a Denny's, and right behind it was La Quinta Hotel, motel, hotel, whatever. And actually, I had that book that I got from we crossed state line. It had all those coupons. And so I had, you know, there was coupon in there for La Quinta. And so God provided right there. There was a Denny's and there was a hotel. And so we went in there, and then they was my husband asking about parts and a Dodge dealer, and I think, well, that's strange. He's not asking where AutoZone or somewhere else. And back then it may have still been Auto Shack. But anyway, so it was only 1 mile down the road, and he said, well, we can get 1 mile down the road with the van. We had a minivan, and so we went into Denny's and we ate. And let me tell you something, don't drink the water around there. It tasted like sulfur. So we all, at first, that's what we always did, because the price of, you know, drinks, sodas, well, they would just really rack up with 5 children. And because we didn't go out to eat often, you know, and so, but oh, it was bad. So we ended up all having to get soda after all. And so the next morning we got up, he drove that Dodge dealer, and I thought, well, I guess he's going to get parts. But next thing I know, he's letting them repair our vehicle. And I thought, wow, this is just so unlike him. And so he must have really been in a hurry to see his friend. So they repaired the vehicle, and we went on to Waco, went to the Texas Ranger Museum, went to our friend's house. So that night, Christmas night, because we went to their house Christmas Eve, and we ate Christmas dinner with them. Well, that when we decide, okay, it's getting about time we leave and start heading, heading toward home and stop somewhere and spend a night. And let me tell you this, most time my husband and I traveled, we just kind of flew by the seat of our pants. We didn't book reservations. We would just get in the vehicle and go and find hotels along the way. That's and now he would always check the vehicles out. So whatever it was broke was one of those things that you didn't know was happening. And so we start headed toward home. And when we got back toward Dallas, my oldest daughter and myself, and my husband never was really into watching football much, but if he had to pick a team, it would have been Dallas. So, and at that time, Dallas was still doing pretty good. So we decided we'd go by Dallas Stadium. Well, we get there to Dallas Stadium, and so we're driving and we're going down toward the stadium, and it said do not enter. And apparently we didn't realize it till just a little while later that it was the entrance for the ball players. And of course it was closed. I mean, the stadium itself wasn't open. And so it said do not enter. Well, my husband said, okay, we won't enter, because we wanted to see what the stadium itself looked like, and so he said, we won't enter. So he turned around, put the car in, or the van in reverse, and backed all the way down to the stadium as far as he could get. Now, I don't think we did. I don't remember us getting out and seeing the actual stadium. And it may have been because I may have been yelling out and telling him, what are you doing? This is, absurd. You're going to get arrested or something. I'm sure I was saying something to him. But, of course, we were all laughing because it was funny. So he did that, and so we could get closer to it. And so then we headed on toward home, and we ended up, I don't think it was that night. Well, anyway, we started getting hungry. Let me tell you that. We started getting hungry. Well, guess what? There's not anything open on Christmas night. Not anywhere. So we got some sandwiches. They had, this cold sandwiches out of a gas station. They weren't that great, but they were food. And I guess we probably grabbed some bags of chips, too. I just remember the cold sandwiches. And so then and that's why we probably should have planned just a little bit better and got something before it got nighttime. So then we headed on, and I don't know if we spent the night somewhere that night where we spent the night. I don't remember. But I do know the next night we spent the night in Carthage, Missouri, and that was at the Precious Moments place. We stayed at the Precious Moments Hotel, and it was either being renovated or it just opened. I really don't know, but they were still working on it, and that was really neat. And we were wanting to go to the museum, but it was closed. I don't remember for the winter or for the whole week, but anyway, they were closed, so we didn't get to go there. Well, so that was my Christmas memory for today. And we had a really, really good time on that trip. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughter. I guess the kids, we opened their Christmas gifts probably before we left, because we were never ones that your Christmas presents have to be open on Christmas. We always did it usually on Christmas Eve, but if we were going out of town or doing something, we would open them up beforehand, Now, I don't remember, but we'd always do our, stockings Christmas morning, again, unless we were going out of town. I don't remember this, but I did have one daughter tell me that I did take their stockings along with them. Along with us, and that I had them and they opened them there at the hotel room. I don't remember, but since she remembers it, I'm sure we did, because I don't remember everything. Well, okay, so that's my memory for today. Oh, and my sweatshirt, I was going to show you that my one daughter got me for Christmas. I have 4 daughters and a son, so. But it says, Mammy, established 2006. That's when my first grandbaby was born. And, I got to turn around here. So we start over here, And it starts listing all of my grandbabies over there and over here. I think it's supposed to be a little higher on you, but since I'm short and, and my arms and legs they're proportioned properly for well, it's mainly my body's what's really short, and then my legs are almost normal, but they're still kind of short too. But anyway, I think sweatshirt, I know the sleeves come like down here on me, and it's supposed to be, like there. So you pull it up, it's supposed to be there. But yeah, it's all 13 of my grandbabies. So I like this, and I thought, oh, that's so cool when I saw it. And I'll talk about what all they gave me for Christmas later, but if I'll remember. But this, I thought, oh, it's so precious because it has Mammy. And, she had to have had this made because you can't find Mammy anywhere. Usually you can find Nana or Mimi or, Grandma, something like that. Well, listen, y'all have a wonderful day. I'm getting ready to go teach my lesson. It starts at 10 o'clock, and so I need to just read over it real fast before I do that. And I think it's about 9, a little after 9 right now. So I need to go do that and get prepared. So, okay, I'll see y'all tomorrow for day 6 of Elf Socks. And I'm reaching up, turn it off. Well, I still didn't turn it off, did I? My goodness. Let me see. Let me press that again. I'm going to get used to this one day.